KTRS. The dogs are barking.
That's right.
That was not your neighbor's dog. That was our dogs here at KTRS. Sun's starting to sneak up. Did you see that full moon driving in today?
Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous.
Oh, now they call it a blue moon. Do you know why they call it a blue moon? Here's a little astronomy trivia for you.
No, I don't.
It's every year we get 12 full moons, right? That's the normal cycle. Well, every two and a half years we get a 13th moon, and they call that 13th moon that only appears every so often a blue moon. But man, it was bright.
It was gorgeous.
It was really bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Remind me to tell you the story about down at Old Kinderhook and the moon that we had this week.
Oh my.
That's part of the Manly Man Show, which I'll tell you more about in the next break. But right now we've got standing by Scott Carruthers, our morning business call.
Goldberg.
I'm sorry, where's he at? Oh, I'm on.
That's why they did the.
That's why they did the updated sheet,
and that's why they did the dog noise. Scott Goldberg's here.
Scott's before Scott. It's the other Scott.
Yes.
Scott Goldberg with ABC News, and he's got some dirty news this morning. He's talking about New York City neighborhoods who apparently are going to extreme lengths to find out who's leaving poop in their yard.
Yeah, and thankfully you guys went with the dogs barking because any other sound would have been pretty inappropriate.
Yes.
Right.
So first of all, how do you get this assignment? Surely this was not something you came up with. Somebody at the assignment desk had to say, hey, we need you to dig into this crap, right?
So to speak. Yeah, you never know. It's what's going to happen here. It's a mixed bag. Sometimes that bag here contains some court documents or some reviews from an inspector general that we need to break down on an important matter, and sometimes that bag is filled with dog stuff.
Yeah. So tell me now, people are just fed up with dog owners not picking up their doo-doo afterwards, and some neighborhoods are taking action. Explain what's going on.
Well, look, guys, we don't have the luxury of so many homeowners in St. Louis where, you have things like a yard that dogs can use. In New York, yards and grass for that matter is kind of hard to come by.
They call them patches.
Exactly. Yeah. And it happens on the sidewalk all the time. The dogs get used to it. They don't really have any issue with it. But you got to be pretty vigilant about picking up. You can't save it for the weekend and say, all right, I'm going to go clean the backyard. I mean, you got to do it as it's happening. Well, people get lazy, and especially when the weather's bad. And apparently in this building in Brooklyn, it's in Brooklyn Heights, which was the setting for the Cosby Show, if you remember that. A nice neighborhood. It looks across the water at the lower Manhattan skyline. And this building where a two-bedroom apartment goes for $2.5 million is filled with dogs and dog owners who don't always go outside, especially during the winter months. So it was becoming a real problem. Dogs doing stuff inside the building, or getting sick.
It's happening
or getting
inside.
sick. So what they wanted to do was find some way to penalize the owners for not going outside with their sick or just needing to go dogs. And they've decided to require that every dog in this building get DNA tested so the people who have to clean up after someone else's dog can at least get back at them by saying, hey, we know who did this, and now there's a $250 fine for the owner of any violating poop.
And that's got to pay for the DNA test pretty much, right? Because, I mean, that can't be cheap either.
DNA testing's probably, if you go through a vet, which is more accurate, isn't it usually like $200 to $300, Scott?
No, it's actually a lot less than that. And there's a company in Tennessee that has realized there's money to be made in this, and it's not just happening.
You're joking me.
No, it's not just happening in New York.
Well, you're saying money to be made on dog DNA testing so people can get caught with their poop in somebody else's yard? Really?
So they send these kits to apartment buildings or complexes that want them, and then the building is charging everyone $35 to register the dog. That includes the DNA test. That's it. Then the fines come in later, but $35 is the mandatory fee for having a dog in this building. You register it now, and then they can take a sample, and they can find the person who's guilty.
I got to tell you, to me, that would not bother me. It's nothing is more annoying than seeing people who do not pick up after their dogs.
Do you ever confront them?
No, and I walk dogs. That's the side business I have. So when I see number twos, on the sidewalk or in the grass, it's so annoying to me. That doesn't bother me at all.
It's really annoying when you step in it, though. That's when you get annoyed. I mean, if I walk by it, it doesn't bother me so much. But if you accidentally step in it, you're like, really? Come on. Who left that behind? So now they're going to know that somebody could scoop up that stuff, DNA test it, and tie it back to your dog. Now, here's the question. If your dog doesn't have a criminal record, you're not going to have my record on file, correct?
Well, see, here's, it's an interesting point, Dan and Kelly. I totally understand what you're saying, especially when that stuff's on the sidewalk and it's baking there on a hot day. It's just, it's too much. We have enough smells to deal with in New York without that. But you can imagine, anyone who's seen Seinfeld can imagine the kind of arguments that are happening at these condo boards where this thing is being discussed. On the Upper West Side, they tried the same thing, and someone actually protested saying, a dog isn't able to consent to a DNA test, so this is a violation of the canine's right to privacy. And these are the kinds of conversations they're having about it.
Of course they are.
It's gonna get sticky before it's done.
Oh yeah.
Well,
you just want Kramer to weigh in on this stuff.
You do.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. And the moral of the story is pick up your Shih Tzu's droppings, right? That's the moral of this story.
That is the moral of the story. And
right. Scott Goldberg, really enjoy your story today, buddy. I'm excited. If I was the assignment editor, I was laughing the entire time I handed you this story.
I really like that Shih Tzu line and wish I would have thought of it.
Yeah, I think you might hear that on network news tonight, right? All right. Well, thanks, Scott. Have a great day and a good weekend, my friend.
Thanks. You guys too. Take care.
All right. Well, Brooklyn Heights has figured out